So, when you're starting out in photography, it is very hard to decide what gear should you use. And that is one of the most frequent questions that people starting out ask. Today, I'm right here to answer that question for you. The question I want you to ask first is, what type of photography am I going to be doing? So for example, if you're doing travel photography only, I think you will be better off just going with your phone. It takes great photos, most of them even raw images, so you can post-process them. Really high quality images that most cameras within its budget couldn't do. Or if you're willing to search your house up, maybe your parents or relatives have one of these, you can get these pocket-sized cameras, which they get pretty decent image quality and sometimes even a really long zoom, like this camera. It gets up to 20x optical zoom, so if you're just doing travel, this will be perfectly fine for you. But if you're willing to be more serious about photography, like doing paid gigs or being a more serious hobbyist, I believe you should be only looking into two types of cameras. First of all, they should have interchangeable lenses. What that means is that you can change the lens on your camera. The second thing I would recommend is get a mirrorless camera. The type of advantages you get with a mirrorless are endless and you can look it up. I'll be looking into two types of cameras, an APS-C sized sensor and a full frame sensor. If you're starting out, an APS-C is just fine, which means it's a smaller cropped sensor, and the full frame is the bigger sensor. I cannot talk about APS-C cameras because I didn't have one. But if I would have to recommend one, I would say get the Sony a6100, the Sony a6400, or anything around the a6000's lineup. They are really solid cameras with great image quality if you're just starting out. For my experience, I'm gonna talk about the camera and lenses I have used up until today and how I feel about them, and do I recommend them to you. First of all, my camera. Currently, I am using the Sony a7C, which is basically the a7 III in a smaller compact body. There comes the C. This camera has an amazing image quality. I've been using it for about 3 to 4 months and this camera has never failed me. I've started using it for hobbies and now I'm even starting to get paid with it. This camera has a full frame sensor, it has great autofocus. One of the most important things in photos is having your image in focus, having what you want in focus, and having a camera that allows you to do that is amazing. So now I'm going to talk about lens recommendations and what I've used and what I'm using. Right now I've got 2 lenses, but I've used 4 since I got this camera. Now you should be looking into a prime lens. What is a prime lens? It's a lens that doesn't zoom. It's a fixed focal length. That means, for example, if you buy a 50mm, you stay at 50mm. You can zoom in or zoom out. The lens I started with was the 50mm f1.8 from Sony. It is a fantastic lens. I cannot talk about it enough. Maybe there are better options, but the one I used was that one and I've been really satisfied with the results I got from it. It's a great lens, really budget. I got it for under $100, which I mean is a bit of chunk of money, but for what you're getting, it is really good. Yes, the autofocus isn't really good, loud and slow compared to more modern lenses. I would recommend it to anyone starting out. It has great image quality compared to a kit lens. So the next lens I used and I do not own right now, I've sold already, is the Samyang 24mm f2.8. That lens was so amazing. I bought it for really cheap, like €120. That lens was like amazing for travel photography. 24mm is a really wide look. So if you want to capture the scene, a 24mm is going to do the job just fine. I bought that lens because the other options of 24mm were really expensive, like the G Master is a bit overkill for what I was doing at the time. So when I went in a trip to Porto and Braga in Portugal, I took that lens with me along the 50mm, but I used the 24 almost all the time. It was so compact and the autofocus was way above the 50mm, like ridiculous. I recommend these lenses for people who are starting out and want to figure out what they want to do with photography. Now, moving on to the lenses I use. First of all, I'm going to talk about the lens I got recently, which is the 85mm f1.8 from Sony. This lens has stupidly good image quality. It is absurd the compression and the background blur you get from this lens at this price point. It is a bit on the more expensive side compared to the other lenses I was talking about, but for the money you're spending, this is an amazing purchase. I've been using it for motorsports photography, which I've been doing a lot recently, and I've even shot the last race I did only on this lens. I got great results and the client was very, very happy. Next is the lens I am using right now to film this video, which is the Sigma 28-70 f2.8 constant aperture. This lens is amazing for the price point. It is even more expensive than the 85mm, but for the money you're spending and what you're getting, you aren't getting a really better deal. The only other option on this price point is the Tamron 28-75 f2.8. But if you wanna compare it to the Sony side, for example, the G Master, that lens is like above 1,500 euro. It is really, really expensive for someone who's just starting out and wanting to take this seriously. It's a really, really big investment if you are not getting the return from it. Of course, it's a constant aperture lens. At f2.8, it's great for low light. I've shot an entire 13-minute documentary on it. That was a group project, not only me. This lens has great image quality. It is really sharp. It's a Sigma, of course it's really sharp. And I got it for around 600 to 700 euros. And around that price point, you really can't go wrong with it. It is a really good lens that will cover a lot of scenarios for you in photography or even videography. The autofocus is really fast and silent, which is a good point. And the focal range is so versatile that you will never feel the need to switch lenses. You'll just leave this on your camera and you'll basically be able to shoot anything from events to sports to portraits. It is a great lens. Of course, if you're trying to photograph those longer sports like football, track, those sports where you are further away from your subject, this lens is not going to be enough. It doesn't have enough reach. But for stuff like indoor sports like basketball or volleyball, this lens will be able to do a great job. Maybe you'll need a little bit more reach. That's why I got the 85 and it's f1.8, so it has better low light performance and better background blur. So I think this lens is great for someone who wants to take photography seriously and wants to cover as much photography needs in a lens as they can. The 85mm I recommend for people who want to do portraits, sports, depending on the sport of course, and people who are getting into videography. It is a great lens for B-roll or detail shots. For example, more close-up shots of a person's face if you're doing an interview. So that's it for today. Hope you liked the video. I'm gonna be back here producing more content about camera gear, photography, videography, and if you like the channel, subscribe, leave a like down below, and comment what do you want to see next. If you like this type of content, what do you want to know? And that's it. I'm out. Peace.